What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Thursday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. So, this is a groundbreaking day. We are, for the first time, trying a little, hey, bud! You don't know what's going on there, do you? Trying a little something different today. And go see Christy? And go see Crystal. And go see Papa. Okay, that's Drew. He gone. So, if you were here yesterday on Morning Scone, by the way, so a lot we'll talk about this morning. LSU basketball. Pelicans last night played tough on the road in Dallas, but ultimately came up short. And Ed Orgeron yesterday previewed spring football. So a lot of stuff to get to here. Yesterday on the show, if you're with us, I mentioned that I was curious if we should move the show from Facebook to YouTube. So it was split. A lot of you said, yeah, I prefer YouTube. Cool. Some of you are like, I don't like change, stay where we are. Okay. So what I've done is I got a new phone a few months back, and I didn't get rid of my old iPhone. Now, there's no data plan on the old iPhone, but as long as I'm on Wi-Fi, I can still use the apps. So, on my new phone, we're on Facebook Live. On my old phone, we're on YouTube Live. So, I will give you the option. Do you want to watch us on Facebook, or do you want to watch us on YouTube? So, 3 people are watching on YouTube right now, but we'll see if we can grow that a little bit, and feel free to leave your comments there. And I'll get to them there, and then we'll also say all of our normal good mornings on Facebook. So Bob Kubrick, good morning. Brian Wynn, Ronnie Duke God, Dad, Blaine, Allen, good morning, good morning, good morning. Mark Allen, good morning. I'm going to go ahead and hit the share button. Hopefully you all will do the same. Brandon Ray, what's up? Good morning. So start with LSU basketball. Jeff McKiffin, what's up, man? I'm seeing everybody's, when your name pops up, I'm not seeing comments yet, so if y'all could, just type out a comment. If someone watching could say, just type out something, that would be helpful so I could see if comments are populating. Anyway, hey, Bo Lowry, good morning. Not seeing comments. Refresh it. Anyway, all right. So let's talk. Let's start with LSU basketball. I can see that y'all are watching, but I'm not seeing a ton of comments. But that's okay. Start with LSU basketball from last night. God, that was massively disappointing. Tigers were a 3.5-point road dog. Did not expect them to go win the game. But at this point now, when you've lost 6 of 9. You can't seem to get it right on the road. Oh, there we go. I got it now. I got y'all now. Thank you. It's concerning. I mean, it's fair to ask the question, will they get it right? And at this point, I think you are what you are. In the first half of conference play, they won a lot of really close games. Skylar hit a buzzer beater against Mississippi State. He needed overtime in College Station to beat Texas A&M. But Florida had the tip in that was waved off. I mean, and then you lost to Vandy. I mean, you very easily, first half of conference play could have been 5-4 instead of 8-1. But you aren't. You made those plays and won those games. Second half of conference play, you've had some really tough road games. At Bama, of course, at Auburn, you play Kentucky at home, at go to Arkansas. And excuse me, I think we collectively got, I don't want to say lulled, but maybe we're given a false sense of confidence, security with this team. And I say a lot of times winning masks deficiencies. And when you're 8-0 and everyone's excited and you're thinking big picture and bracketology has you on the 3 or 4 line, you're thinking, all right, maybe they figured out what ailed them early in the season. But the reality was, early in the season, they went to VCU and couldn't close. They went to Jamaica and couldn't close against Utah State. They went to LA and couldn't close against USC. And a lot of those issues have popped up with this team on the road. I also think that they are tired at this point in the season. When you played 17 conference games with a very minimal rotation. Last night in particular was just, there was a degree of absurdity with the officiating and the fact that Arkansas attempted 50 free throws. I mean, that was just absurd. The disparity with how that game was called. A lot of it does, I think, fall on LSU for shot selection. They got down and started jacking threes. Now, they made 11 of them, but they attempted 27. That's 40%. It's not a bad clip, but as we said all the time, when you attempt 27 threes and you make 11, you miss 16. That's 16 empty possessions in a game where you're trailing. But Arkansas, basically what Will Wade always wants, to make more free throws than the opponent attempts, flipped. Arkansas was 36 of 54, and they missed a bunch of free throws, especially in the second half, which gave LSU a shot. LSU was 17 of 23. So Arkansas made 36, LSU attempted 23. Bye, bud. Have a good day. Bye, bud. Go to St. Lillian. You going to St. Lillian? Go see the kids? Go give me a hug? Here you go. That's a surefire way to get him to go. All right, so, all right, we got some YouTube watchers. Leandra Lewis, good morning from Arizona. Terry Vidito, good morning from Arkansas. Cajun Marine, who I believe is Trivia Carter. What's up, Trivia? Mark Allen, what's up? Appreciate y'all for checking us out here. Terry said, great hog win over LSU last night. You know what? I'll give Dane Bradshaw of the SEC Network a lot of credit. Had Dane on the show last week, and I was asking him about the SEC. We all sort of roundly agree there's 4 teams that are in: Kentucky, Auburn, Florida, LSU. Those 4 in the NCAA tournament. The question is, and this was a week ago, of that cluster of Mississippi State and Texas A&M, South Carolina, those lingering teams, which was the team that might be able to make a push and earn, a 5th bid for the league? And he said this was going to surprise some people, but it's Arkansas. And the reason is they're a different team with Isaiah Joe, and the committee could very likely consider that. And if Arkansas goes on a little mini run here at the end of the season, wins a couple games in Nashville, they could get there. Well, Arkansas, don't look now, but they're at 19 wins. They just got a quadrant 1 win over LSU. They have a great chance to win on Saturday. I believe they're playing Texas A&M. And so that would put them at 20 wins, go into Nashville with a chance to get a few more. And remember, you can look at the conference record, but if they win, they'll be 8-10. But as Jerry Palm has pointed out so many times to me over the years, the selection committee does not have your conference win-loss record on their sheet. Your order of finish in the conference and your conference win-loss record is nothing that the committee considers on the resume. So they're not going to look and go Arkansas a losing record in conference. They're going to look and go Arkansas 20, 21, 22 wins, this many quadrant 1s. Their pre-conference was impressive. I think Arkansas's got a really good chance to get in. They got to do some scoreboard watching. They have to win, but they got a shot. All right, let's see. Brian Wynn, good morning. Subjects never to be brought up with Matt. That's a pretty interesting topic. Jason Tarver, good morning, Matt. Talk for an hour or so. I have something to listen to while I drive to NOLA. Jason will go as long as we got questions and things to talk about, man, but I appreciate you for watching. Kevin Gleason, good morning. Trivia Carter, Joe Ed Kettner, good morning. Kevin Gleason, I like that shirt. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it. It's a, Erica got this for me. It's the performance material, like dry fit material. I like these. They don't wrinkle. They're wrinkle resistant. They feel comfortable. They're light. I like them a lot. Polo makes some good ones, and then there's another brand called and they sell these at carriages called Mizzen and Main. If you've never heard of it, they're like this. They're the performance gear of these like button-up shirts, and they are. It's my favorite shirt in the world. It's stylish. It's so comfortable and light to wear. Anyway, but thank you, Kevin. And Kevin, thank you. So Kevin messaged me. I forgot to reply. Kevin checked with Brock to see the exact number of doctors and locations. I'm gonna go find that. I don't know where it is. Anyway, apparently they've added some doctors and a location or two since we've started this. And I've been saying, 5 locations and 33. I think it's 7 locations and 37 physicians. So thank you for the heads up on that. Billy Reddy, what up, playa? Dylan Landry, good morning, Matt. Morgan and I are doing our final walkthrough for our first home to close tomorrow. Congrats, man. That's awesome. I met Dylan and Morgan when we were at Burger Inn watching the LSU Texas basketball game about a month ago. I guess that was in January. Great people, man. I appreciate y'all for coming out then and for watching us here. So very cool, man. Good on you. Good luck. Good luck. Bubba Tatum, it's the Dead Soxy for shirts available at Brock gift shops everywhere. That's not true. And Bubba made that comment on YouTube, so I'm seeing your YouTube comments as well. I would not say that it's the Dead Soxy of shirts. Mizzen and Main is close. I mean, it's a premium shirt, but they're fantastic. Okay, so LSU basketball again. Last night's loss isn't crippling. To lose a quadrant 1 road game isn't going to crush you on your resume, but it's a missed opportunity for seeding. So if LSU goes and beats Georgia at home on Saturday, which they should, they'll be a decided favorite. They should win that game. LSU beats Georgia at home on Saturday. Tigers will be in the NCAA tournament. They've clinched a double bye already in the SEC tournament. I thought they needed one more win because there might be a tiebreaker that could work against them, but apparently that's not the case. So Tigers have a double bye, which means you don't play to Thursday. So you'll play Saturday against Georgia, and you'll be off until Thursday. So you should be fresh, go win a game or two there, and it certainly depends on who you play. I mean, if you get a chance to lock up with Kentucky or Florida or Auburn, you'll have a better chance to maybe improve seeding a little bit. But that's the goal right now. Beat Georgia, you punch your ticket for sure to be in, and then let's see what you can do in Nashville for seeding purposes. But this is just an LSU team that absolutely refuses to defend, and I'm sure part of it is that they don't have a deep rotation, that they're tired, but it's been an issue all year, and they're deficient, and they're not a team interested in defending consistently, and that's going to cost them. They might be able to win tournament games 92 to 89, but you also have the possibility of having something happen like what happened last night or what happened last week at Florida. Let's see. Kelly Presley, good morning. Jeff McKiffin, good morning. Daniel Lawrence, good morning. Hope you have a great day. Thank you, man. Mark Allen, what's up? Jordan Remonday, good morning. Matt Lusto, hey Dad. Ronnie Dugas, Kelly Gross, Trey Samaha, Craig Schilling, Dax Jeter, Stephen Miller, Joey Lucian, good morning. Brandon Ray, Gavin Blanchard, Brandon Atchison. It's doing that thing again where I'm just seeing the green notification that y'all joined. It's not showing me the comments. Let's see, here we go. Oh, they're there. Okay. Let's see. Y'all crazy. Megan Hurst, good morning. Casey Smith, can't forget about Glenn's favorite company, Skin So Soft. Poor Glenn. Jason Truax, what's up? Jeff, that's a good question, Jeff. Jeff asked if the tournament's still going to be in Nashville. I would imagine so, Jeff. I, admittedly, I have not asked, but I didn't see that there was any damage to the arena, to Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. And as long as teams can get in and out and play at the arena, I would imagine that they'd still play there, yeah. I haven't heard anything about a contingency to move it. I mean, you got a week. It starts next week. So, yeah, I'm going to assume it's still going to be there. I mean, because I haven't, at this point, I haven't heard anything about it moving. Let's see. Stephen Miller, good morning, bud. Watched about half of the first half. Couldn't make myself watch anymore. I don't blame you. I'm not buying it. Was a close game either. It wasn't. Good on LSU for rallying late. And they actually had a chance. Down 8 with, I think it was, I don't want to guess, I can't remember now. Down 8, they had a wide open look at 3 from the top of the key. I mean, straight on. And that would have made it 5 with about a minute and a half to play, which is very doable. I mean, 5 would have been very doable. Instead, missed the wide open look. Who was it that missed it? And then Arkansas got a transition bucket, and it was 10, and then that was basically it. So, bummer. But you're right. It wasn't. I mean, it was 23, I believe, was the biggest lead, and it was 20 for most of the first half, and about half of the second half before LSU made their push. And truthfully, Stephen, a big reason why LSU had a chance to pull closer was Arkansas went in the shell in the second half. They were running clock. I mean, they were just they lost their aggressiveness, and they were holding the ball and passing deep into the shot clock to burn time, and they weren't getting good looks. Breezy Bro, number 1, never talk politics with Matt. This isn't the place. Nowhere is the place, actually, Breezy. But yes, that's very true. Don't talk politics with me. I just don't care. Somebody yesterday posted, so I posted, if y'all missed AFR yesterday, I did a rant on, y'all saw Princeton invited Marshawn Lynch to speak at their class day. Not their commencement, but it's like a senior class day. And some little snowflakes at Princeton wrote a letter to the editor complaining about Marshawn Lynch speaking. And so I went on a rant and lit into him. And I posted a little clip of it on, I think, on Instagram or something. And somebody commented and was like, that's because liberals hate football. Like, what? This has nothing to do with politics. Nothing. Nothing has anything to do with politics. Why do people always have to default to making everything about politics? I don't give 2 bleeps and or a bleep about liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat, how everybody hates Trump, they make America great. I don't care. I don't care. Don't care at all. Do not care. The greatest line ever was from Barbara Bush, who said, what happens at your house will always be more important than anything that happens at the White House. Take care of you. Who cares what these morons who have this inflated self-worth because they want a political office? Who cares what they think? Nothing has anything to do with, oh, you're a liberal, you're a conservative, you're a commie, you hate America. Like, shut up. Yes, you're right, Breezy. You struck the chord. That's it. Don't talk to me about politics. Ugh. I think you nailed it, Breezy. Hey, Don, good morning. Craig Savoy, good morning. Where you been, man? Good to see you. Michael Claudet, what do the Pels do with Gentry for next year? Good question. Disappointing loss last night for the Pels, man. Really disappointing loss last night for the Pels. Not because they were expected to win. They were not. They were an underdog on the road, about 6-point underdog on the road at Dallas. But they played so hard after, soiling themselves the night before at home against a Minnesota team that's got the 3rd worst record in the NBA. And it would have been really nice to make one up last night with a win in Dallas. But went to overtime. Beautiful shot by Melly at the end of regulation, a 3-pointer to send it to overtime. By the way, I posted the video of it on Twitter, but Porzingis got Melly's hand on the follow through. He should have gone to the free throw line and won the game with a free throw. But anyway, disappointed that they couldn't make the plays in overtime. Brandon Ingram fouled out on a questionable call, and when Ingram went out, it was over. So, Michael, your question: what do they do with Gentry for next year? They seem committed to him. It's hard to judge because you didn't have Zion for 44 games. How much different is this season if you had Zion for all 82? And I'm still going to maintain that they're going to make the playoffs. You may laugh at me, and I know they're 4 back and they're running out of time, but I'm telling you, they're March 17th or 16th. They have a 6-game stretch where they can win all 6 of those games, including 2 against Memphis, and they will overtake Memphis during that stretch. So, book it. And then their stretch run, they play in their last thing. I looked up yesterday. In their last 15 games, there's 1 game against a team that's currently in the playoffs, and it's Orlando's the 8th seed in the East. That's it. So. Your schedule is exceedingly manageable down the stretch, and if they get hot, which they can, against the schedule, I think they'll make the playoffs. But they seem committed to Gentry for next year. And I do think you have to see what it looks like with Zion on this team for the entire season. Let's see. Blaine Smith. Last night was embarrassing. We should play zone and no shots further than 3 feet from the basket on offense. Last night was embarrassing. I agree with you with LSU refusing to defend and would probably be better playing more zone. But the problem with that is when they do play zone, teams find the soft spot in the zone and then they make threes because LSU doesn't close out. So, I know what you got a great option, man. Chad Helps, good morning. Derek Morales, what's up, dude? Chuck Bazette, good morning. Christopher Michael Acord, Mark Vitenovich, good morning. Shout out as always, y'all, Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Look at over here. Look at this. Look at this. We got some YouTube comments going on. What's up, YouTube peeps? Joey Canali, good morning. Arthur Blanchard, like to switch to YouTube. So, Arthur, I've got both. I've got one phone on Facebook Live and one phone on YouTube Live to give you the option to watch how you want to watch. So, thanks for checking us out, man. Let's see. Cajun Marine, I think is trivia. Do you think Ed Parrish has a chance to win the starting quarterback position, or is it all on Miles? So it's not Ed Parrish. It's Peter Parrish, who's the quarterback. And no, I don't think he has a chance to win the starting quarterback job. So yesterday Ed Orgeron met with the media, and there was a few interesting things. Notably, moving Devontae Lee to linebacker, and Lee tweeted, business decision, so, which is smart, by the way. 6'1", 223. There's an opportunity to be on the field immediately at linebacker. You're buried on the depth chart receiver, so go get on the field, make you money. Specifically with quarterback, Ed said all of the quarterback reps, the first team reps, are going to Miles, which tells you they're not confident in the other's ability to beat him out, and they need to see if Miles can do it. But y'all, I'm going to tell you this point blank. I don't care what anybody says publicly on the record. LSU pursued De'Aaron King, and they pursued the Wake Forest transfer who went to Georgia. LSU tried to add a grad transfer quarterback. Period. They did. And they missed on those guys. The King went to Miami. So right now they have got to approach it from the standpoint that maybe they don't add anybody, and Miles is their guy. So you bet, this is the right approach, is to say you're all in on Miles. Excuse me. You're all in on Miles this spring, because if you go through spring and you don't end up getting a grad transfer after spring, then you got to roll with it, man. He's your guy. So, investing this time in Miles Brennan is the right call. Now, if you could theoretically have a repeat of what happened with Joe Burrow, where Burrow was in a quarterback battle, he went through spring, he lost the battle during spring, and then transferred. That could happen. LSU could very well have a situation where, excuse me, where they go through spring. Maybe it feels a little iffy at quarterback. Somewhere else around the country in spring, there's a quarterback who loses out his job, decides he's going to transfer, and LSU goes and pursues him. That's a possibility. But to your question about Peter Parrish, no, I don't think that's the option this year. Past and present cards. What's up, man? Why is Delpit taking such a dive in the mocks? Also, do you think you'll fall around to it's Terry? Terry, good question. Grant Delpit is falling in mock drafts because the film this year wasn't as good as it was a year ago. But something that is that should be obvious now post combine, where Grant Delpit did not work out at the combine because of his injuries. What's evident and should be evident is that Grant Delpit played the bulk of this season with a bum ankle. And LSU didn't want it to get out how severe it was. But it was obvious at times, like the Ole Miss game, how limited he was. And I said it last week when Delpit made that admission at the Combine that he should be applauded, not chastised. Because with a first-round future, he could have sat out and said, I'm just going to sit down and get this thing right and be ready for Combine. He played on a bum ankle. And I think he's going to go have that conversation with every NFL team, and they're going to realize what type of player he is and what type of person he is, and you will see him go in round one. So, Terry, to your question, does he go in round two? No. Grant Delpit will be a first-round draft pick. Ronnie said the audio is not as clear. You know what it is, Ronnie? Hang on, let me try this. The reason is because the phone is back-facing, and I have the microphone on Facebook. Let me try this. The headphones here that have a mic on it. Let me try to plug these in and see if this gives you a little better audio. Shout out to Brock. As always, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. If you're watching on Facebook, please like their page, their tag in the post. It's always a kind help. Terry, is Maneri struggling to recruit hitters, or is it just you? So, okay, a couple things on that. One, remember, Paul doesn't recruit. It's Nolan Kane who's a recruiting coordinator. Second. There we go. Try this. You have to tell me if this gives you better audio. Hopefully it does. All right. Let me know if that gives you better. Hey, YouTube, let me know if you now have better audio. Let me know if you have better audio on YouTube now, please. I hope you do. Okay, much better. Perfect. Thank you. Good. All right, that's good to know. See, a little trial and error here. We're going to work on this together. Okay, good. Perfect. Great. Good to hear that. And Facebook, y'all, your audio is still good over there on Facebook? Hope. So Maneri, with regards to baseball recruiting, Maneri's entire approach changed when they changed the bats and when they moved to the new park in Omaha, TD Ameritrade, and it became a wasteland, a graveyard where people couldn't hit the ball out. And so instead of recruiting
boppers and guys with power like you would in a traditional lineup, he started recruiting all shortstops and center fielders. Guys that so you'd have a super fast outfield that could catch everything, and really talented defenders on the infield. So you could pitch and play defense and really limit an opponent's offense, and then figure out a way to piece together your own offense. Um, and several things have happened. Obviously, they've changed the ball where they lowered the seams. They've tweaked the bats to bring a little more offense into the game, and as a result, I think you've seen LSU commit to trying to bring in more of a traditional roster. A guy like Hayden Travinsky, is a big kid. Saul Garza, is a big power hitting catcher. You can look up and down the lineup and see spots where they've tried to bring in guys with power. But the days of I'll give you an example. You remember, Matt Clark would be a good example from LSU. A big kid who was only going to play one position, and really he was only there for his bat, for the possibility to add power to the lineup. You remember Wes Ray from Mississippi State and Sykes Orvis from Ole Miss? Remember those guys? If those names sound familiar, if those were guys that were not very talented defenders, basically just big fat guys that could only stand on first base, and their job was to swing out of their shoes and try to hit homers. That was it. Well, they stopped recruiting those guys because they didn't see the benefit in having them on the roster in Omaha because they weren't going to hit the ball out. And then they were a liability defensively. And then the other problem became if you sign that guy when you have a 25-man roster limit. Remember, college baseball rosters now are capped at 25. Whereas in the old days, you could sign 40. You have 50 guys. I mean, some of those teams, those LSU teams in the 90s, had 40 guys on the team. Well, a lot of kids from Baton Rouge wanted to just wanted to play at LSU, so they'd walk on and they'd never play, but they were on the team. You can't do that anymore. You can't just bury a guy on the roster just to have him in case you need that bat. You can only sign 25. And so the challenge was, if you sign a guy that is on your roster just for the sake of hitting homers, if it doesn't translate, he can't hit, then you've wasted a roster spot because there's nothing else he can do. At least a guy I'm just telling you the mentality, at least a guy like Hal Hughes, he can't hit. But if you need a defensive replacement, if you need a starting shortstop or a defensive replacement late in the game, you could put Hal in the game at second or at short, really anywhere on the infield, and he's gonna be a good defender for you. You know what I mean? So that's been the mentality in recruiting. I'm not telling you it's right. I'm just telling you that's what they've done. Terry Vitito. 11 minutes left in the game. Arkansas started burning clock, got out of rhythm, got sloppy with the ball, allowed LSU to get in a rhythm, start hitting threes. That happened for sure. Matt Lusto, what's up, man? Let's see. Darren Dogan, top of the morning. JM James, topic for tomorrow. Well, what can we learn about the baseball team this weekend? I mean, I can talk about that today. For me, I'll tell you point blank, you have got to see your pitchers repeat the performances they had, your starters repeat the performance they had in Houston. I mean, it's clear this team offensively, it's going to be a struggle. But pitching can carry you. The question is, can they be consistent? So let's see that this weekend. And then the other thing, too, is, well, you better go get off offensively. I mean, you're playing UMass Lowell. I mean, you're not facing aces from Big 12 schools. You're not facing guys that are going to be drafted. You better go get off offensively. I mean, this better feel like batting practice this weekend against UMass Lowell. Anyway. All right. As always, shout out to Brock. Let me hop back over here and get y'all on Facebook. My apologies here. I have to refresh to see the comments. So There we go. Got him. All right, let me blow and go through some of these here if I could. AJ Holland, let him go. Let's see. I guess I was in reference to my political rant. Josh Long, rough time for basketball in Louisiana these days. I disagree, man. LSU, but it's just perspective, right? And expectation. LSU basketball is going to the tournament, and I still think the Pels are going to make the playoffs. So, Paul Walston wore my dead Soxy all day walking around NOLA. Did not wake up missing a kidney. It's a magic trick. It's crazy, man. I got mine on. I wear them every day now. They've taken over my sock drawer. They got so many great styles and designs, and they stay up. So I don't know if y'all can see this, but they have like these silicone little gel bubbles right there, and those are the things that I guess they grip your leg, and it's not like it's cutting off your circulation. It causes friction where it doesn't slide. And they've patented that technology, so you pull your socks up, and they will be up all day. Anyway, they got some great designs too, so check them out, deadsoxy.com. Promo code GO, GEAUX, they'll save you 30% on your order. Let's see. Brian Ashcraft, Skyler stole the ball with about a minute 30, turned it over, trying to throw ahead to Williams, down by 8. Yep, God, that was brutal. Oh, it was brutal. Or was it 8 at that point, or was it 7 and that would have gotten it to 5? Maybe that's the one I was thinking of. LSU Terrell Wild, good morning. Since the Vandy game, this team seems to struggle on the road. This will make the postseason difficult if they can't get things fixed. True. The difference, though, is playing a neutral site is going to be a decidedly different environment than going to Auburn Arena or to Bud Walton Arena. You know what I mean? I get your point, but I don't know so much that it's just going on the road as it is not handling the opponent's crowd well. But I understand your point. Blaine Smith, Coach O's press conference was interesting. I thought we were deep at linebacker. No. Y'all. All right. Let's have some real talk for a second, okay? Because you can spin any conversation about this roster you want, and you can make it sound good. The reality is LSU is in a dangerous spot at linebacker and on the offensive line. They are. It's not to say they can't be good. Don't misunderstand me. But you lost Jacob Phillips in his 113 tackles, Patrick Queen in his 85 tackles, and as great as he was sideline to sideline, Michael Divinity, who only played 6 games, but we know how good he was, and then Chasson, who probably been a defensive end in the 4-3, but still linebacker. You have Damone Clark, Micah Baskerville, and then after that, you're converting a bunch of guys to linebacker. You're converting Devontae Lee from receiver to linebacker. You're converting Ray Thornton and Andre Anthony from defensive end to linebacker. You're converting Marcel Brooks, who's 205 pounds, to inside linebacker. You have a problem there. I will be, choose my words carefully. Let me just say I will be very surprised if LSU does not add a grad transfer linebacker. I mean, you have got to have somebody that is a veteran that has played football that can play in a 4-3 at inside backer that's done it before. Yeah, you need options for sure at linebacker. And then on the offensive line, you lose 4 of your 6 linemen. I can piece together an offensive line that looks pretty good, where Chasen Hines starts at center and hopefully plays really well. You've got Ingram and Deculus on the right side, and then on the left side, it's a big question mark, but maybe Cardell Thomas at left guard, and then Dare Rosenthal when he comes back at left tackle, but Cardell Thomas didn't play a snap. Jason Hines hasn't taken a snap at center. And then Dale Rosenthal started for Sadiq this year when Sadiq was suspended. But when he started, it was brutal. I mean, and now you're going to put a green quarterback behind a new offensive line. Offensive line was a question mark last year, and they emerged and played awesome together. This unit could do the same thing, but you got some real question marks at linebacker and on offensive line. You got to address those, and this spring is critical for those guys. Let's see. Josh Long, sorry, but I'm not a Marshawn Lynch fan. Doesn't matter. He's interesting. I'd listen to him talk. Last 3 games have been Jekyll and Hyde. More wins in the tournament or SEC tournament for this LSU hoops team. Sorry, y'all. Steven, if you're asking, I would say push. I think they get one in both. I think they win one game in Nashville and one game in the NCAA tournament. Because I think they're going to end up in the 8-9 game. They're going to win that one. And then lose to the 1 seed. Sorry, y'all. Matt, do you watch any other sports? Motocross, F1, NHRA? I don't watch racing, Kevin. I've just never been into it. My sort of one-off sport that I watch would be fighting, would be MMA. If we're being honest, Princeton people are a bit stuck up. Randy Hines, huge Pelicans fan, but I don't think Zion will bloom under Alvin Gentry. Even at times, Gentry looked lost coaching. That's fair. Listen, I mean, the guy is a sub 500 career coach. It's fair. I don't have a counter argument to that. He had a really good run in Phoenix for a couple of years when he had Nash and Amari Stoudemire and those guys. And maybe he could replicate something like that where this is a team that pieces together a really good record. Is it a type of style where you just sort of refuse to defend that would ever make it in the playoffs? Probably not. But do you trust Griff? Griff's bought in on Gentry, so I think that's what it is. Jason Tarver, good morning. Brandon DeVille, 5 games back, too hard to come back. I don't think so, Brandon. Like I've said, I think, especially because you've got 2 more with Memphis, and you have a manageable schedule. I think they can do it. I think they will. Ryan Beard, sports brings people together. Politics divide. Let's keep it with sports. Got to love the power of sports and uniting people. That's true, Ryan. Now, sports also divides people, like Auburn and Alabama, and Army and Navy, and Florida and Georgia. But I get your point. Josh Long, Matt hates people with hair. I don't, but I am envious of your hair. Let's see, Bennett. Bennett, I'm going to block you, Bennett Saya. You're going to get the ban hammer. Mark, Gentry is horrible. Either cut bait with him now the first few years or waste the first few years of Zion and Nola. Mark, he's had Zion 5 weeks, and Gentry still sucks. I'm not going to come hard with a counter argument. I was really surprised they retained him. But I think the question is, do you trust David Griffin? And he's pushed a lot of the right buttons. And I would have been curious to see how the season would have gone if you had Zion for the first 44 games. That's all. Jeff dove into a bottle of Baker's 13 last night. Jeff, I was lucky enough to score a bottle of Baker's 13 this year, and it's a remarkable accomplishment. Yes, it is. Baker's 13. On Christmas Day when we did a blind taste, we did a flight. We probably had like 15 different bottles or so. We did a flight. And we did our ryes and we did our higher proofs, higher proof bourbons, kind of organized them as such. And the Baker's 13 was probably the runaway surprise winner. The surprise performer. It was fantastic. Good luck finding it if you can, anybody. But if you can find a Baker's 13, get it and tell them, get 2 and get one from me. Let's see. Matt doesn't hate Coach O anymore. Josh, I never hated the man. I didn't like the hire. And you know what? 99% of y'all didn't either. All y'all who called him Coach Zero and everything. I don't hear any y'all crickets from y'all now. Mm-hmm. I was the only one with a microphone with the balls to say it. Let's see. 5 games behind the 8 seed, 3 teams between them, and said position. Going to be a long shot to make it for the Pels. Steven, you're right. Look at the schedule. There's one game after that stretch I talked about March 16th. You play one game against a team that's currently in the playoffs. They can go on an absurd run, and they have 2 games against the team that is currently in that spot. Jacob Wesley, do you think Torrey Carter should play linebacker? It's not a bad idea. It is not a bad idea. LSU doesn't use fullback anymore. He's built for it. I don't know how quickly he could transition, but I'd be for it. Rodney Beloso, what's up, man? Ever tasted 20-year Kentucky bourbon, Nat Barter House? Hey, Rodney. The answer to your question is yes. Was that a flex? Did I just flex? I think I flexed. That was just a flex just there, wasn't it? I'm not mad, though. Let's see. Stephen Miller, essentially we're living deja vu from 2018 spring. Not a bad comparison. Not a bad comparison. Andrew Bear, good morning from D.C. Chris Polk, who outside of Damone Clark do you see emerging starters at linebacker? Baskerville. They like Baskerville. And probably Marcel Brooks, I would say would be your 3. Neil Ripley, good morning. Pete Giardino, good morning. YouTube. Yes, I do have a YouTube. So we are right now. So I have had the Matt Moscona YouTube channel for several years now. The After Further Review YouTube channel is a new phenomenon being pushed by Guarantee, but this is on Matt Moscona YouTube. So today my setup for those just joining us, I've got us live on Facebook on one phone and live on YouTube on the other phone. So I wanted to give people the option because I know a lot of you prefer YouTube, and there's other people on YouTube that aren't on Facebook. So I want to give you all the option. I've tried apps that would take one feed and send it to many, but our quality just diminished greatly every time I did that. So anyway, so I hope this worked well. So I would love your feedback. Let's see. Keith Rosenbach, do you see LSU basketball improving drastically in the next season or 2? Yeah, next year they're going to have they're adding 6 players to the roster next year. They're adding size, which they're missing. They're adding Jalen Cook, who's a true point guard. Yes. So the answer to your question is yes. I think they will be much better next year than they are this year. And I would love it if Trendon Watford came back. I would love it if Javonte and Emmett and Darius Days all came back too. If they did, then LSU, with this class they're bringing in, LSU could be a Final Four team. If they got Emmett, Darius, Javonte all back, and Watford, they got those 4 back, and added this class of 6, yeah, I think that would be they would be the favorite in the SEC, and I think they'd have a real shot at being a Final Four team. Rodney, the hitters are there on this team. They just need to hit their stride and follow the process. It's coming. Rodney, you're probably right. Like, we've seen Mathis hit. We've seen Doty hit. We've seen Garza hit. I know that. What we haven't seen him do is produce consistently over 56. The only 2 are Cade and Cabrera. Like, those are the only 2 that have done it over a 56-game season. And so I don't think all of those guys I mentioned are going to go the whole season without hitting, and I also don't think all of them are going to hit. As in most things in life, the truth falls somewhere in between. So if LSU ends up, let's say it's Cabrera and Cade and let's say Doty, Milazzo, did I say Mathis? And Mathis, let's say those 5, and then maybe you get some production out of Gio. You can have a competent enough offense with LSU's pitching to be a team that can that can go to Omaha and can win. You got to see it, though. The hitters are there. They just need Joe Boo. Y'all are crazy. Let's see. Luis Salomon, good morning. Alden Cartwright. Cartwright. All right, y'all, I think we're nearing the end here. Let me flip back over to YouTube. Wow. Thanks to y'all who are watching on YouTube, man. First day we did this, where I went dual streams, where I have both Facebook and YouTube. So let's see. Henry Bennett, good morning. Wouldn't a move to a 4-2 defense with 5 defensive backs be the next step with the linebacker problems? If you have enough defensive backs, that could be in that hybrid role, Terry. And you might see some odd looks like that with a guy like Marcel Brooks who could float, back to safety, or a guy like Jacoby Stevens who could play at all 3 levels of the defense. Like, you may see odd looks like that, but mostly when you're talking about that, you're talking about your base front, like your down line, who's going to control the run. And you need defensive linemen and linebackers to do that. Matt Lusto had a glass of Whistle Pig 12 last night. Told him an eyedropper of water. It came on the rocks. I would not dilute Whistle Pig 12 at all. It's a lower proof. It's sweet, and I don't think you need to dilute it at all. Just as an FYI, that's one that I wouldn't pour on the rocks. Like, I'd handle that one neat. Let's see, Bubba, tried Elijah Craig barrel proof this weekend. My chest is still burning, 138.6 proof. It's not nearly as smooth as it sounds. Barrel proof or full proof are going to be a challenge. I don't drink things that are that high proof. Like, when you start getting into the 120s, the high teens and 20s as far as a proof, I'm generally not going to enjoy that. You're in the upper reaches of, I like Bottled and Bond. That's one of the reasons I love that Henry McKenna. McKenna's Bottled and Bond. It's 100 proof. I mean, this is an awesome whiskey. So, 10 years, 100 proof. I love it. That's a great one. When you start getting to 138, I mean, I had a bottle of 1792 full proof, and I tried to drink it twice, and I gave it to my cousin. I was like, dude, I can't. Here, take it. Just take it. Let's see. Pegasus J, good morning. What position change do you like the most? Position change. Talking football? I don't know who else is changing positions. I think it's interesting moving Joseph Evans from defensive line to center. I think it tells you 2 things. Number one, they got a lot of bodies on the defensive line, or they feel like they do, but it also tells you they need help at center. They need options at center. I like moving Devontae Lee to linebacker. Super athlete. I mean, in high school, he played both ways. He was the best defensive player on the field. I think he's a guy that could play immediately. Is Milazzo in the lineup for defense, or does Bat warrant him over Garza in the regular lineup? I think you need both Bats in the lineup. You are definitely putting Milazzo in the everyday lineup because he is a dominant defender at a critical defensive at a premium defensive position. That's why Milazzo is in there. Last year, LSU couldn't throw out anybody. Well, they couldn't control anybody's run game, and Milazzo is dominant at it. You went from bad a year ago to dominant this year because of that kid. And he's also brought his bat. But I would sacrifice the bat to have a premium defender at catcher. Period. Like, catcher, shortstop, center field, straight up the middle. You give me a premium glove, I'll sacrifice a bat. They did it with Papierski for 3 years. Papierski never really hit until late in his final season. He had a great run in Omaha. Hit a couple of jacks. I mean, but he was so dominant. He was a brick wall. As much as Lang would bury that bender, as his out pitch, Papierski never let it get to the backstop. I mean, he was awesome. You had to have him in there. You have to have Milazzo in there. But you need Garza in there as well, because if you're a lineup that isn't going to produce 1 through 9, then you've got to have the opportunity for a bloop and a blast. And Garza gives you that. It's why K. Doty's got to be in the lineup every day. It's why Cabrera's your best hitter. But, and then Beloso, you're going to count on those guys to be that for you, to be your run producers. Henry Bennett, I can't wait to see Cardell Thomas on the field. He's going to be a savage. He needed to lose a lot of weight, man. And a lot of people were excited about him last year, but I'm telling you, he wasn't going to play last year, even before the injury. He needed to lose weight. He needed to lose some of the baby fat. That was a guy that played 1A football and was mauling 170-pound defensive linemen. And when he went to the camp circuit against other elite talent, it showed. It's why his stock dropped a little. But he came along, man. I'm excited to see. All right, let's see. Trell Hatch, I still don't like the hired Matt. I believe in Lucky Charms. Ronnie Dugai, YouTube is behind for some reason. Not sure. Rodney, that was a very good flex. I had to, dude. I had to. Jordan Remedy scored a bottle of Stag Jr. Oh, Jordan, please tell me where you got that Stag Jr. I have been hunting this year a bottle of Stag Jr. and I have been unfortunately unsuccessful. If you have a tip, please let me know. Let's see. Jeff McKithen with you, Bourbon Game Strong it is. It's so funny, man, because I've accumulated so much over the years. If anybody comes over, asks, hey, do you have the chances are the answer. I mean, unless if you're talking like Pappy 23. No, I don't have a bottle of. I do have Van Winkle 12, the Lot B. I have a 12-year Lot B, but most anything else I probably got. Had some Blantons while dining at Mendina's Tuesday. There you go, Paul. AJ Holland, people interested in seeing Jalen Cook play can watch Walker playoff game Friday. There you go. Averaging 30 a game. He's been a big part of a high school team who's been to the last 2 5A state championship games. I'm excited to have him at LSU next year, man. Need him. Jason Tarver, we made an hour. There you go, Jason. We got you all the way to New York. You're lucky that today happens to be a day, the first day in about 4 weeks where I've not had a meeting or anywhere to be. So I was able to extend a little longer here today. But I got to get up to the station now, go do the Locked On podcast. So please hit the share button if you've not done so yet on Facebook. Shout out to Brock. They're tagged in the Facebook post. If you could like their page, that's a huge help. And all of you watching on YouTube, I greatly appreciate it. Please, if you would, share some feedback. Very much appreciated. I think we might have done a little better here with our audio issue when I plugged in the headset mic, but I'll see if I can get a better option too for us here. But anyway, all right. Y'all have an awesome day. Thanks as always. And Locked on LSU podcast later today. By the way, if you're on YouTube and you're not subscribed to my page, please subscribe to the page. And later.